Paul and I, Triple H and I, we make mistakes in business every day. The good thing is we have one another who we can say, hey, I think I did this. What do you think? I don't think that was the move. Maybe we can think of it the other way. Okay, let's try that. Look, at WWE, we have two philosophies when we don't know what to do. Copy the NFL or do the opposite of boxing.
So this is the intro, but we're going to reference it as the outro because we just had an incredible interview with Nick Khan. And he is, of course, the president of WWE. He is on the board of TKO. He is the former co-head of television at CAA, Creative Artists Agency. He was an attorney prior to that. Nick is just an incredibly accomplished business person. Media mogul is on his path, I think, and I think the most important part is who he is as a human being, and it was our goal to bring that out, and I think it wasn't too hard to do.
No, I think it happened pretty quickly. And hearing how much of a family first guy he is, he said, there's two things that matter most to me in life, and it's family and loved ones, and then it's business. And so it's very clear to see, while he works really hard and obviously has been so successful, it's just pretty cool to see how at the end of the day, like, his number one is still family, is still his kids and his wife.
And third is work.
Yeah.
Right? He said, I have no hobbies.
I know. I mean, I guess
outside of
when you work with WWE, UFC, like, going to those events becomes a hobby, right? Like, that's a pretty cool.
Sure. There's a lot of fun.
It's pretty cool
in business.
Life. Yeah.
We didn't actually talk about that. That would have been a good follow-up, is how important is the fun, Because I think, like, especially you and I working together, it's always, we work really, really hard, but we laugh as hard as we work.
Yeah. Work hard, play hard.
Yeah, work hard, play hard, live hard.
Oh,
We're
doing it.
Yeah. Was there anything he said that surprised you?
No, I think a lot of what he shared, and I, at one point asked about it, like, I just wonder how he has so much knowledge, and he knows, and we've said this in working with him, a few years back, he knows everything.
Right.
Or it feels like he knows everything.
And the importance of that.
Right. And that's why I truly am like, when do you have time to do this? Because I feel like I'm someone who gets up early and I work out and I take care of the kids and then I work hard, but, like, I still don't find that time to know everything. Like, when is he doing that?
Well, I think he's also just exceptionally bright as well. And I think he interprets information and takes information in a different way than most people. And I don't know if that's because he has a particular intent as he approaches what he's reading, and where he's finding his material. He has, whatever go-to sources that there are that he stays up on. But again, he's just constantly reading. I think he's constantly learning. And his systems for, remembering those things that mean so much to him, whether it's a quote or it's a picture or it's an article or whatever it is, like, throughout time, that must be quite a library he has in there.
Yeah, that's actually like part 2. We'd love to see the favorites.
Yeah, and we have to talk about the fun.
Okay.
I mean, it was a fun interview, don't get me wrong, but we have to talk about the importance of fun in what you do.
Yeah, I think hearing from him and where he started, what he went through, he struggled like everyone else, and he made a promise to himself, basically, that he wouldn't ever feel that way again. When he was struggling, he wouldn't be without money. He wouldn't let his family, like, the story to, wait on having kids, because he wanted to make sure, like, that really got me. Because I think at a point in my life where kids came into the conversation, I was very career first, but I didn't think like that. It was really cool to hear and inspiring. And I think we can all take a little bit from it and try and be more like Nick.
So without further ado, let's get to our guest, Mr. Nick Khan. Ever wanted to meet your favorite WWE superstars up close? Snap a pic, grab an autograph, and share a moment with the legends you've been cheering for? Well, now it's your shot because Fanatics Fest is coming back to New York City this summer. It's the ultimate hangout for WWE fans. A full weekend of unforgettable moments, surprises, and superstar access like no other. WWE superstars already confirmed include Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, The Undertaker, Jey Uso, Chelsea Green, Trish Stratus, Liv Morgan, Damian Priest, Charlotte Flair, and trust us, there is more on the way. So stay locked in. Fanatics Fest takes over the Javits Center in New York City, June 20th through the 22nd. Hit up fanaticsfest.com for tickets and all the latest updates. Don't miss your moment. Nick Khan, welcome. My former co-CEO of WWE, current president of WWE, and on the board of TKO, former co-head of television for CAA, former, going all the way back to, what is it, Elise? What year?
Sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
Yes.
And what was sixth grade?
I believe we have a clip.
Or a
What is this?
picture?
A picture, just a picture.
I'm not looking to get anyone in trouble.
Just feel like maybe this is when it all really started for you.
There you are.
Immediately, you have someone on the inside who's giving out information that's absurd, and we should
Most
strike
likely
that.
to
No,
succeed.
come on. Most likely to succeed.
How
I mean,
about
we might have
Nicholas?
to blur the other faces.
Not even the cooler name of Nick.
Nicholas.
You were in sixth grade.
Silly.
Did you go by Nicholas?
By the way, just quickly, in all of those jobs and titles, do you notice the through line outside of the sixth grade one is that I worked for you in each of those?
No, that's
Yes.
not true.
I was an agent. I worked for you. I came to WWE. I worked for you.
No,
Co-CEO. I
no,
worked for you, and
no,
now here I
no.
am doing your podcast.
And I worked for you too along there.
I wish.
We could,
sure.
if
I
we could
wish.
pull up Steph's third grade. No.
Yeah.
Yes, let's take a look
Most
at that.
likely.
Oh.
We've seen it from the WWE program and catalog.
That's true.
When you were a model.
That is true.
Your
Yes.
modeling
I
career.
modeled the Rockers and Matilda and Hulkamania merch.
I remember the Rockers one.
You owe me, by the way, because I never got paid for any of that.
We'll take it. We'll have our CFO,
offline.
Andrew Schleimer. We'll hit you on that. Turn it over to him.
But why do you think in sixth grade that you were voted most likely to succeed? And it's the same face. Like you have this serious face in all of these images and pictures throughout the years.
You're saying like resting bitch
Nope,
face,
nope.
as people say?
Serious face.
Resting serious
It's intense.
It's not. It's
Is it?
not
Yeah.
resting at all.
I don't know. I think you know, my parents would tell me that I was never really a kid.
Why do
They-
you think though?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just sort of like, I didn't like the other things that a lot of other kids like, yet I think because we moved around a lot as kids, always sort of found a nice group of friends wherever we moved, but I wasn't into like the kid stuff when I was a kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just didn't move you in
Well,
any way.
I was into wrestling, which I did not consider to be kid stuff.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. I liked sports. I liked the business of entertainment. I liked magazines as a kid. Not like car magazines and this stuff, but I liked, you know, the more, I don't want to say adult magazines because
That's a whole
that
nother
creates
category.
a different category. Yeah.
But like you have said to me, you didn't love fiction.
Yeah, I still don't love written fiction, and I know for the literary folks, like that's blasphemous. I just, you know, like a vulture comes and grabs a person and takes them away.
Dragon.
A dragon.
Yeah.
I don't
Mostly
like movies like
dragons.
that either.
No Game of Thrones for you.
By the way, Game of Thrones, amazing.
Okay, so you
Amazing television.
you
I
were
felt
all
like
good with Game of
the
Thrones.
dragons were the backdrop in that show compared to being at the forefront.
with the characters.
Were you into that show?
Yes, but late. I didn't watch it when it came out. I tend to boycott when things are popular. I don't know why, and then I catch up with them.
Did you watch? Yeah, you don't like to follow the crowd.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm similar in that regard.
yeah.
Like when Starbucks first came around, early 90s,
I was
like,
in. I have to say, Starbucks. I was in.
I was like, I'm never going to that place. That's ridiculous. And then I went finally, and someone was like, you should try a Frappuccino. I don't know if you've had
Oh yeah.
this concoction.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh my God, this is the most
Sold.
amazing thing of all time. Very good.
Yeah,
Right? You
Yeah.
approve?
I do. I wasn't drinking it in the early 90s, but
What-
So
you're like
Elise didn't
30
start
years younger than
drinking
I am. What do you
coffee
mean?
until WrestleMania.
my first WrestleMania, Paul, I was working for Paul. He was the main event with Roman. And around 3 a.m. when we were at the stadium doing entrance rehearsals the night before Mania. I had to be up in about an hour to get food and everything sorted. I was like, it's a good time to start drinking coffee.
What year was this, give or take?
2016.
So almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So you never had coffee before that?
Yeah, and now I'm hooked.
She's a regular
I get
consumer.
it. I quit coffee like 2 months ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was causing like sleep issues.
Oh.
That's
I don't-
probably.
I don't really sleep that much anyway, so
Yeah.
it was.
What's a good night's sleep for you?
I feel like in answering the question, it sounds kind of like, oh, I'm bragging. I don't need a lot of sleep.
But like 4 to 5 hours. Everyone's different.
I feel
4 to
like
5
3
hours,
hours.
6 to 8.
3 hours for you?
For you.
No, maybe like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
That's plenty of sleep. How about you?
4 is probably ideal, but like we're in the teething.
Yeah,
the
she has
teething
little
stage,
kids.
like,
It's
Little kids.
different.
we're
Yeah.
just in it.
Yeah.
But I
Little kids, especially for the mom, even in a co-parenting house, never once in my almost 20 years of marriage and 13 years of having children have my children in the middle of the night called out daddy.
correct.
It's mommy consistently. So
Mama,
it's
mama.
very tough.
Yes.
Very tough
Here I
job.
come.
Yes.
Yep.
Mama.
Same in your house?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They don't say Triple H. They just say mommy.
Hunter.
No, mommy, and they are at my bedside, but they're all older now, so this hasn't happened in a while. But I will just say my middle daughter, Murphy, used to wake me up by pulling my eyelashes out at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Cruel.
That's kind of like Murphy now.
Yeah, kind of.
Strong
But she
person.
thought it was hilarious because the way I'd wake up, and she'd be, you can't be mad at her.
By the
you
way,
know?
to anyone who doesn't have children, anyone in this room not have children, the scariest fucking thing that I've ever experienced in my life is when your child comes to your room when you're sleeping and they're just staring at you.
Yes.
You agree with that?
There's just the shadowy figure. It freaks you out.
You open your eyes and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And they're like, you scared me. And I'm like, you scared me. What do you mean?
I've almost swung at my child in my sleep because
It's
he's
very
just
scary.
there.
So, okay, I'll tell a story on myself because Aurora would want me to tell it. I had been in like Dubai for a week and came back and went to China and came back and my sleep schedule's all messed up. So I took an Ambien to go to sleep. And my daughter, Aurora, at the time, she was maybe like 10 or 11, came in to wake me up. And I didn't wake up, but I was somehow in my mind dreaming and seeing someone who was trying to harm me.
Oh no.
So you attacked.
So
her.
I grabbed her and I was saying, who are you and what do you want? And Aurora thinks that like it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And she then starts screaming at the top of her lungs. Paul now wakes up. He sort of hears me saying like, who are you and what do you want? And then he hears Aurora screaming.
Scary.
He wakes up like level 20, thinking someone's broken into the house. And then I kind of come around like while all this is happening. I'm like, honey, why are you screaming? What's the matter? What's going on?
So you created the fire that you never put out.
Yes,
I
exactly.
understand.
But she was just traumatized. She tells this story of absolutely being traumatized.
Who do you think's more traumatized, her or whoever the gentleman was on the balcony next to you and Paul at your honeymoon? In your honeymoon suite.
There was no one next to us.
All I know is I've heard the story from you and I've heard the story from Paul that there was some sort of, when you're a young couple,
I don't think I know this story.
I mean,
when you're a young
sounds like you're
couple,
the star of it.
presumably in a private, resort, maybe one would go on the balcony, unclothed, like you're in a sunny
no,
spot.
no. So this wasn't a balcony situation. We had rented a place in Hawaii.
Yes.
We did not know that the beaches are all public, no
That's what
matter
it was.
where you
Yes,
are.
no
So
matter what,
even
yeah.
if you rent a private house, it's not like that's your private beach area. So Paul wakes up and he, walks out, stretches. He wasn't sleeping clothed at that time.
Young-
and
young
he's,
relationship,
yeah,
no
like
children.
full.
Yeah.
Full on,
Nude.
manhood,
Yeah.
yes. And he's just walking, and all of a sudden, this guy gets up out of the water right in front of us with a snorkeling mask on and a big giant snorkel, stands up, starts walking like someone else pops up out of the water over here. We were like, oh, ran back in the house.
That's the story I was talking about. So
that's the
different.
one. You were
So
right, though. Wow, good
different.
memory. Good memory.
And by the way, that picture you showed, I'm going to look at Elise on this. There's only 3 people who could have sent that to you.
Oh,
So now, that was from Hawaii when we lived in Hawaii.
Yes.
Which is why it jogged my memory. So there's 3 people, either Yvette, my wife, or Ben Brown. Oh, see?
You had to tell so easy.
I don't know who number 3 was going to be. I got scared.
KP, Ben Brown,
Oh, yeah.
my former assistant at WWE, as you know, who's now a big shot at Omaha Productions, Peyton Manning's company.
Big
Now I
shot.
have
said
to
I
get
wouldn't
revenge.
reveal
But
my
my
sources.
partner company for Stephanie's Places.
Yes.
Yes.
By the way.
I love them, by the way.
I'm so happy to hear that. I love them too. I figured you would love them. They're phenomenal at what they do. And by the way, I've watched all of these Stephanie's Places that have dropped now, not the unedited ones. I thought you did fantastic work. I thought the one with the Bloodline and the one with CM Punk in particular, the Punk one was sort of emotional, you know, at the beginning, and the Bloodline one, not so easy to go into a family setting and get everybody at ease the way that you did and get them to open up. I thought those were phenomenal episodes.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Great content.
The funniest part, I think, of the conversation was I was trying to kind of break the ice a little bit, and I wasn't sure when to put this in. It didn't air in the episode, but we were allowed to put it out in social. But was when I suddenly just asked the Usos if, you know, it was awkward that their dad's ass had been in my face.
That's funny.
I
didn't see that on social.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
I
it
gotta
was
see
pretty
that.
We'll have
funny.
to
It
show
was
you.
pretty
Yeah.
funny, yeah.
And they were like,
Yeah, and they
said-
show the full clip on social,
amazing.
and I have the stink face full on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ricky.
Yeah.
By the way, I also thought it was funny in that episode where, you know, Solo Sikoa, who's obviously super strong and super tough, you know, you go into these modes when you're with your family of sort of being in the box that you were in when you were a kid. You and I have talked about
Yes,
this before.
absolutely, yeah.
But when he was like to Jimmy and Jay, he's like, you guys kind of picked on me, you know.
And then he's like,
When I was
sad.
little, yeah, he was sad, dude. And by the way, the camera panned to their faces. They were like laughing and
Oh,
smiling.
yeah. No, it's a real thing.
Yeah, they didn't seem
Yeah,
apologetic.
no, they were
Yeah.
not. They were not.
That's
But they
family.
told so many stories in this episode, and this is why, like, I love the opportunity to interview all of our talent. But so many different stories of how Solo, the baby, got all the special treatment.
Of course, the baby.
The baby, and he was like Rikishi's favorite, according to the twins. And like they'd come, they weren't allowed in his room, right? But Solo'd be sitting on the bed right next to him watching TV, and he'd be like, "Go get me a sandwich," and they'd come back with the sandwich, and one for him too. Oh,
Tough.
and the baby just look over. And
Who is your
sad.
favorite of your 3 daughters?
I don't have a favorite.
Oh, come on.
I don't.
Lies.
I don't.
Lies.
No, it's not.
Who's your least favorite then?
I don't. And this is the way I tell it to them. I grew a separate heart for each of them.
That's very
and it
sweet.
does not compete.
We were a very hands-on mom. As strong as you are as an executive, equally strong, if not stronger, as a mom. Hard.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love being a mom. I think it's the most important and hardest job in the world. Being a parent is the hardest job in the world.
Difficult.
But, you know, I have complete respect for all the moms.
When my wife and I were married without children, I felt like it was a 50-50 equal relationship in terms of say. Once we had children, I dropped from like 50% to 5%.
yeah.
She has all the power in the household. I'm just hoping like nobody hates me when they're 18 and all of those
fair.
things. You agree with that?
Well, so I'm glad you brought up kids because I do want to ask a serious question.
Tell me.
And not that you're not being serious, but as you know, as a dad and as a business leader, and I think as a great dad, by the way.
that's sweet of you.
So I just want to say that because you know, you talk about me being a strong executive and a strong mom. You are a strong executive and a strong dad, and I don't think a lot of dads get credit, especially those who work as hard as you do, to make the time, especially to still bring your kids to games, to make sure you're there in their lives, that you bring them to school in the morning. I mean, not a lot of dads make that time or get the credit for that time when they do. And I just want to make sure I call that out.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
No,
Thank you for
yeah,
saying
it's
that.
true. But one of the things you told me a long time ago was you used to sit with Natalie, your oldest, and at that time you would go through the Wall Street Journal with her on Sundays. And, you know, what are some of the things you would ask her to read? How did you make her think about what she was reading? How did you make it interesting to her? Does that still happen? Do you do it with Sonny now, your youngest, your son?
By the way, amazing shot of Sonny, my son, sitting on Stephanie's lap. So cute.
I love him.
And
I
by
love
the way-
Natalie too, but that
Thank
I got like a lap full of love that night.
Especially as your kids are now older. Like,
Yes, I don't
you
get
know,
the cuddles
no, you don't get the
anymore.
cuddles. It's
It's
amazing.
not the same. And oh man, I loved it.
Oh, thank
Sonny,
you.
Sonny, I love you. Thank you.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet of you. So, look, in our home growing up, my parents are immigrant parents, as you know. everything, and I read this in someone's book, so it's not my original thought, but I think they both saw that they could only go so far in life, my parents, and they really dedicated a lot of their time to myself and my sister. One thing that we would do as children is we had to read a newspaper article, any article we wanted from the front page of the paper, and at dinner we would discuss it. And I found that as I grew up, and really as I was starting my career where you're working for people older than you, it gave me the ability to discuss subjects that they knew and that they had lived through that I had read about. I think a mistake a lot of young people make in business is, so I'm 50 now. If I say to someone who's 25, man, I remember when the Space Shuttle Challenger, exploded, and they say, well, I wasn't even born yet. I think to myself, like, man, you just lost an opportunity to connect with me. Like, clearly you weren't born yet. All you had to say was, what was that like? How did you feel? And all of a sudden there's sort of a conversation or a bond. When we were kids, you'd hear that about, I remember where I was when JFK was shot. You'd hear adults say that. Never once would I say, like, oh, I wasn't born yet. It's such a stupid line to me.
I feel like I've said it before.
I think I literally just did the Starbucks thing. It's fine.
No.
Back my seat
not
up.
at all. We were all joking with all that. So yes, I do that. My wife and I do that with our children. Read the one article. Let's talk about it at night. And I think it's given them a glimpse into political elections and the state of the world and different subjects that they're now either interested in or semi-interested in.
Do you remember anything that they may have said recently from reading an article that you were like blown away?
It's not as recent, but I remember in the 2016 election, so our daughter was born in 2011, so she was 5. So our children always come to vote with us when we still go in person and vote as a family. It's just something we like to do. And we gave her the I voted sticker, that everyone gets, right? So she went to school with the I voted sticker, and she said who she voted for at school, and everyone's like, you can't vote, you're not 18. And she was defiant. She's like, I voted because one thing my wife and I did, we let her come in the ballot box thing with us.
Right.
And at the time push, the buttons
Wow.
and all
So
of this
she
stuff.
really did.
So she believed that she voted, and she was steadfast about that, and I was happy with it. That's what we want her to do.
So strong young women are common in your family. You told me a story about your sister Nanachka, and you were getting bullied at one time.
Yes.
And what did she do?
Well, by the way, I've never really been bullied in my life.
Sure. You were very
So
little,
excited.
very little.
So yes, she was in the 3rd grade. I was in the 1st grade. There were some 5th graders, and as everyone in this room remembers, the difference of 1st and 5th grade is big. There were some 5th grade boys who were sort of pushing me around. All of a sudden, I saw someone come up, bam, hit one of the boys in the face. Bam, hit the other kid's nose is bleeding. I look up, and it's my sister. And, I still remember that to this day because one thing that she and I talk about, my sister and I talk to my children about is always back up your sibling. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. Deal with that later in private. But when you're kids, if someone's messing with one, the other needs to come right away. Not what's going on here, not, oh, you shouldn't have done that to their sibling. You defend them first, and we'll deal with it later as a family. And I think I learned that with my sister's actions. This is a long time ago, 1st grade for me, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
And I feel like you apply that philosophy to your life. And it's one of the things I wanted to ask about now because you're a very, very loyal person. It's from my observation. You have relationships, deep, strong relationships with people, and I've heard you go to bat. I've heard you not allow someone to say something negative. I've heard you defend, somebody, and clearly they're people that you believe in, or you wouldn't do that. But how important is relationship building and loyalty?
To me, it's at the top of the totem pole, but both of those things. Very kind of you to say that about me.
It's true, by the way. You're really a remarkable human being, Nick. You are.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
I feel like if I can join in on the Love Fest, just to share a story, if appropriate, of this exact loyalty. I know I've at some point in time thanked you probably via text, but
I was working here for both of you, so I'm having a little PTSD right now. I mean,
That's a negative.
I mean,
You still work with Steph,
I
so
mean-
that's directed at me, the
no,
PTSD.
nope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep telling the story.
You were our chief of staff.
I was.
Yes.
And then I wasn't. And I was going through a pretty rough time. And you were somebody who was checking in on me very often just to see, life after WWE. How are you doing? What do you need? And you're in the middle of like WWE, WrestleMania, sale, everything going on. And you were still making this effort just to check in, which meant a lot to me. And then, I kind of hit a point where I was applying for jobs. I couldn't get in as an administrative assistant. And I'm like, but I was just a chief of staff. Like, what do I do here? And you took the time to meet with me. And then following that meeting, you, again, made sure I was taken care of. And I just feel that speaks to your loyalty. And, I only got to know you, I want to say.
Elise, what did you say you did when you found out?
I literally dropped to my knees and started hysterically crying. Because just one kind gesture meant so much to my family, so much to me. And I instantly reached out to thank you, but when we were talking about how loyal you are, I'm like, I felt that. I witnessed it, I felt it personally. So, thank you again. And it's crazy how it worked out because it rolled into Stephanie's Places and now this podcast. So
Now your Big Shot podcast.
That's right. Now she's a star.
apparently
Right.
I've been dragged closer every time I keep moving closer.
Look, it's nice of you to say all those things, but I do because I want to do, not for anybody to know about it. I appreciate you saying it,
Yeah.
but I think I do what any reasonable person would do.
I disagree. So then there was another time. It's like we had this open administrative job. It was like, head count. And we were really, I think it was administrative. We were really trying to find the right person, everything else. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, Nick took that head count. Wait, what? Yeah, no, Nick took that head count. And then I go to you and I'm like, Nick, what's going on? And you were like, well, I was in this shop and I saw this kid busting his ass cleaning the floors. And come to find out, that he was the son of this woman who was, working at the shop. And he was such a hardworking guy. And he clearly wasn't going to get a shot anywhere else. So I told him I was going to hire him. And again, that is not common to find people who you see something in. Like clearly you're not just offering something just to offer it, but you see things in people. And I think you really want to give people the chance that maybe you had to fight for in a different way. So you really are a remarkable person, and not a lot of people know really who you are, aside from all of the huge success as a businessman, but the huge success of who you are as a human being.
I don't know what to say. I didn't know we were going deep mode here.
Sorry,
I thought we were going to talk
I actually
about.
didn't think we were going to go so deep so fast.
I thought we were
but
going to talk about what about the AAA acquisition and all of this
we
stuff.
can do all that.
That's my fault.
It's gracious and kind of both of you to say, look, Steven Jackson, the ex-NBA player, said this in a documentary on Netflix called Malice in the Palace about the Detroit Pistons Indiana Pacers fight. He said, if I'm with you, I'm with you. And I always felt that line was the way that I was. So if I walk into a room with somebody who's my friend and there's 500 people in the room who don't like that person, I'm with the person I walked in with. That's just the way it is.
Do you think there's a reason why? Like, were you always like that when you were most likely to succeed in 6th grade? Were you always like that?
Oh, what a goofy looking picture.
It is not goofy
That's
looking.
goofy.
I mean, I think the Wheel of Fortune picture or
Is
clip
worse.
maybe because you're older.
Yeah, worse. Yeah, let me tell you. And by the way, you guys know this. You have children. Like, nobody talks shit to me like my kids do. And I love them, and I think we have a very close relationship, and I think they're very respectful children.
They are.
But the Wheel of Fortune clip, when they saw that, it was like, what did you have in your hair? Which was pomade at the time, in case anyone
gel.
knows what that is. Yeah. And they're like, what kind of tie were you wearing? And it's not like I'm some style maven, but you know this from your time in New York. Like, there's these tie like racks, like at these tchotchke stores.
Sure.
It's like 3 ties, $7.99. And when you're 25 years old
That's a
and
bargain.
broke, I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to get 3 ties for $8. That was one of those ties. So they made fun of me for that. And then some other clip in a documentary, they were like, man, this was from a long time ago. They're like, your hair wasn't white. It was not gray, like white. Your hair wasn't white. It was black. And they're like, hey, you are so skinny. And I was
Oh,
like,
man.
Can
take
you
it
just
easy.
stop?
Where's the compliments here? Anyone want to say like, oh, you've come a decently long way? Nobody says that.
Nobody
in my
said
house.
that. Nobody said that.
Yeah.
But you, again, to talk about your seriousness, right? So you found out, and I would like to hear the story from you, but you found out you weren't going to have enough money to graduate law school.
Yes.
And that's when you decided to give it a shot for Wheel of Fortune because you knew you needed the time to study for the bar. And you needed, why don't you tell the story?
There were 2 key pivotal moments. I've always felt like throughout my life I've gotten lucky. Going into my 3rd year of law school, I had so many loans that the loan I applied for the 3rd final year got denied. And I was sitting there saying like, man, like, I put this time and energy into it. I was doing decently well in law school, and now I'm not going to be able to finish. And there was no like rich relative to go borrow money from. It just didn't exist. So at the time, I called my ex-girlfriend, and I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish law school. This is in 1999, so pre-cell, or right when cell phones were coming around. And she said, well, why not? And I gave her the circumstance, and she said, well, why'd they deny your loan? I said, because my credit's not good. And, I have a lot of debt on it already. And she said, you need a cosigner? I said, yeah. And she said, I'll co-sign for you. She said, just don't tell anybody. This is my ex-girlfriend, who's, by the way, now my wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, God, he's talking a lot
I
about
know.
this.
I was starting to get a
Yeah.
little.
No, thanks for looking out. But, people break up, people make up.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Cut it. Cut
That's a lot about this ex-girlfriend. Please
it. She's signed with him.
cut that. Yeah. So on the Wheel of Fortune thing, so I worked full-time in undergrad and law school. And I knew that to study for the bar and pass the bar, I couldn't work full-time, study, and pass. I had to take 2 months off just to study. I sort of knew myself.
Because you have this disciplined approach to things.
It's just I knew it. Like if I worked, the secondary thing would be studying for the bar, and I had to pass it the first time. I didn't have the financial means to take it the second time or to wait on being a lawyer, like a lot of other folks. So I said, if the bar review course was $5,000 and my monthly overhead was at the time, it was like $2,000. It was not like that much, but to me, it was everything. So I sent in a postcard to Wheel of Fortune, again, late 90s, early 2000s. I get a letter in the mail, hey, come for an audition on Wheel of Fortune. I go to what is the Sony lot in LA, which I've now been to many, many times for business meetings. And I auditioned for Wheel of
Do
Fortune.
you have like PTSD every time you walk on?
Well, I think I have positive, whatever.
Positive PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress
Positive
disorder.
traumatic.
That's what I meant.
Positive non-traumatic stress, non-stress disorder. So there's 1,000 people auditioning. The good thing for me is 990 of them were like 80 years or older. So I'm sure you're familiar with the show.
Oh yeah, I
right?
used to watch it all the
Okay.
time.
So-
and The Price is Right. I mean,
That means when
come
you're
on
sick
down.
from school and
Exactly.
Price is
when
Right
I was
was
sick
on,
from school, that's all I watched was The Price is
that was
Right.
amazing.
Yes.
And then People's Court.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you try
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch a soap opera, but you couldn't pick up on the storylines. It was very
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
Very tough. Anyway, so these older folks, to audition, you just spin the wheel and call out a letter. So these older folks are spinning the wheel and they're like, Z. Spin the wheel. They're like, X. So I
And
get
you're
up
like,
there.
what words have
You
these
guys don't
letters
know
in
how
them?
this game works? I spin the wheel. I'm like, T? And they're like, hey, you're on the show. So I go on Wheel of Fortune. I win $16,500. And when your bank account goes from 0 to 16.5, I'm like, I'm never going to have to work again. I'm rich now. This is over. Drinks are on me. But I paid for the bar review course. I passed the bar, and
And the rest is history.
the rest is history.
How important in life and in business is obsession / passion / being driven, for what it is you're trying to accomplish?
I think, Steph, there's a difference between a job and a career. If you're a career-oriented person, you got to be obsessed with it every day of the week for like 40 to 50 years. And even when I talk to a lot of young folks who are getting out of school or in school, you know, I'll hear a lot of people say, like, I want to be an NBA agent. And I'll say, okay, who do you think the sixth man should be for the Denver Nuggets? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you better figure that out.
Right.
Like, you have to know more, or at least believe you know more than everyone else doing it to have a chance to succeed. So for me, even, you know, we talked about family. I really only have like 2 interests in life. My number 1 interest is my family and my loved ones. My number 2 interest is business. So it's not like I'm like boating on the weekends or I have no hobbies. I don't really like to do a lot of things if it's not with my family or loved ones. Like,
But you read a lot.
I do read a lot. But I don't like going on
But
guys
it's not
trips.
for play. Yeah.
Boring.
But when you read, are you reading for pleasure, or are you reading because you want to know something about someone or some type of situation?
What's interesting, you bring up the word pleasure, because also growing up in our household, we had mandatory reading time that wasn't called mandatory reading time. It was called pleasure reading.
I'm sorry.
I think it was a
His
trick.
eyes twitching.
Yeah,
as
it
you
was
say
a trick by our parents to be like, you're really enjoying this, not you have to read. But the deal in our house growing up, my sister and I, our deal with our mother was, if you got all A's and B's and you read a book a month, you could do whatever you wanted to do.
Okay.
So there was no bedtime. There was no, for them, it was like, if you're getting the results, do it however makes you happy. So I like to read fiction. I like to read the mistakes.
The
that other
nonfiction.
people-
I'm sorry.
Nonfiction.
Yep.
Pardon me. I like to read the mistakes other people have made. I think past is prologue, and you can sort of avoid a lot of things. One thing you and I have talked about a lot. Like, I always think it's a mistake when executives do these profile pieces on themselves. When you and I were put into the roles of co-CEO, we sort of kidded about it. Like the picture where you have your arms crossed and you're like standing in your office,
Yes.
and they're like, here's a picture of his kids on his desk, or here's a picture of her, you know, sitting on Andre's lap. Like, those are always like setups for failure. And if you read a lot about what's happened in the past, you'll see that. Like, Bob Iger never did that early on in his, you know, run at Disney, his legendary run at Disney. And for me, I think the more you read about what's happened in the past, the more you can predict the future.
And are there particular sources you seek out, or do you allow like one thing to lead you to another place? You know, for a lot of our listeners, right, they may want to follow in your path, or at least use some of these keys.
There's no one who wants to follow my path.
Well, I think,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Very nice of you,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, being president of WWE, leading the charge on professional bull riding now as well, and, you know, the new boxing venture that was launched in partnership with Turki Al-Sheikh and, of course, Dana White, who's really the front-facing figure on it. So you are an incredibly accomplished person, and since you came into WWE officially, I mean, when you first started as an agent, you increased the multiple on our television deals, but since you've come into WWE in a leadership position, you've increased the multiple of our like market cap.
Well, we've increased it. The entire
of course,
team,
yes,
yeah.
and but part of the team effort is knowing the right people, is being an excellent leader. And one of the things that I love that you instill in your people is, look, if there's a mistake, because we're going to make mistakes, you know, failure's a part of learning.
Always.
But if it's a mistake, it's on me. It's not on you. If it's a win, it's on you. And I've heard some leaders say that before, but I've never seen anybody actually practice it. And you do.
Oh, thank you. It's kind of, you look, to me, if, like you just said, if we fail at something, it's 100% my responsibility. If we succeed at something, it's everyone else's success. That's just the way I like to do it. And that's how I feel inside. So what I tell our executives is, if you have a problem and you bring it to me, it becomes our problem, where we're either going to fix it or I'm going to fail at fixing it. But if you have a problem and you don't bring it to me,
You can't help.
you better fucking fix it on your own, or there's going to be a real problem for you, you know,
Yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
your tenure here.
Yep.
And I've found that encourages people to come to you and say, I messed something up. Here's what happened, or I don't know what to do. That's fine.
You're very clear and direct in your messaging.
That's a
Very
good thing,
clear.
or
Great thing.
Okay, good.
I appreciate, and also how quickly you make decisions. And again, it's being decisive. It's making a good decision, and you get the input from the people that you trust, and then you make the decision that you need to make, and you make it right there, and you stick to it. And not that it couldn't, you can't change your mind or what have you, but people appreciate that clear direction.
Again, very kind of you. I think, by the way, I feel like there's a lot of business principles in a marital relationship, right? There's a negotiation, there's sort of wanting to keep everyone happy, there's unhappiness that you have to get through, there's ups, there's downs. I know when my wife and I went to look at the home that we live in now, as soon as I walked in, I told the real estate agent, yeah, we want to buy it. And she was like, well, I like it. My wife's like, I like it, but let's look at other homes. I'm like, we don't need to look at other homes. Like, let's get it. The agent said, how much you want to pay for it? I said, we want to pay the asking price. Like, let's go. And let's wrap this thing up. And we wrapped it up, and we lived in that house, and it's been great for us. Same in business. And if you make a mistake in the decisions, that's okay too. Fix it.
Yeah.
No issue. Paul and I, Triple H and I, we make mistakes in business every day. The good thing is we have one another who we can say, hey, I think I did this. What do you think? No, I don't think that was the move. Maybe we can think of it the other way. Okay, let's try that. And then to the executive committee meeting, the senior leadership team will say, hey, this got messed up. We're going to pivot. We're going to do X, Y, and Z instead. And everyone rows in the same direction.
I have a number of different examples of things going through my head, but you mentioned how it applies to marriage. How do the leadership principles as a business leader apply to your kids?
I never relitigate the past. I won't do it at work, with people I care about, with my wife, with my children. Once an issue, and there's always issues, once it's discussed and resolved or semi-resolved, I move forward. And I think there's different kinds of people in the world. I think there's people who live in the past, which is definitely not me. There's people who live in the present who tend to be sort of the happiest people. And there's people who live in the future who are sort of thinking, well, what's going on around that corner and what do we need to watch out for? I'm a little bit more that way.
Okay.
That doesn't lead to depression or stress or anxiety. It just sort of like, it keeps me on my toes. And it's the same way at home, and it's the same way. Now at home, you got to make the effort to be present. Because a 13-year-old daughter, a 9-year-old son, which are the current ages of my children, they're not looking for what are we doing in 2 years from now. They're looking to talk about their day today. And I think you've done a great job of it with your children to sort of be there and be present. And you and I have kidded in the past, and to any parents out there, your children, like when they're little, they love doing the handstands in the pool.
Yes, look at me.
Look at me.
Look.
What did you grade that? What did you rate that?
1 out of 10, come on.
Correct. They're never a 10.
Why was it a 9?
Yeah, it's never a 10. They're always falling over. There's one leg this way and this and that. But you got to be there, and you got to sort of, instead of saying like, why am I looking at this handstand competition? They got to know that you care about it, even if you don't.
But of course we do.
Of course.
Of course.
Yes, nothing like a handstand competition in a pool.
There is nothing like it. I mean, it can get quite competitive.
No question.
Yes, especially with multiple kids.
3 girls is not easy. They're all very close in age, your daughters also.
Yes, and
But
they
they're
all
all
believe
very
they're
fun.
excellent at handstands in the pool.
They're all really bright. They're all a lot of fun, and they're all really sweet.
Thank you.
I think that's a reflection on the primary caretaker.
Well, we are very blessed. We really are.
Also, good primary caretaker.
3 times over.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I always hate it when it gets turned on me and I'm not expecting it. So I want to talk to you about.
By the way, can we just go back
Yes,
to your
yes.
Bloodline Steph's Places episode?
Sure.
So I was talking to Jay Uso about that episode.
I love Jay.
He's the best. You know what he said about you in that episode? He said, she's one of us.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So your ability to disarm people, your ability to go uptown and downtown, your ability, I've seen it with you for 8+ years of being in business with one another. You care about the people. And in order to lead the people, you got to love the people. I think that was a Muhammad Ali line. And you'll see a lot of executives, a lot of leaders will say they care about the people, but they really don't. it's sort of like you'll see people when they see a piece of trash on the ground and their boss is around, they'll pick it up. I'm always curious, if their boss wasn't around, would they pick it up? You with people, when no one's around, I think you're at your best. When people are around, you're a natural star and people are attracted, you know, to your personality and being around you. But one-on-one, there's nobody like you.
Thank you, Nick. Don't make me cry.
Stern face, too.
Yeah, you're serious. Not stern.
Serious face.
Serious
Resting
face.
serious
It's
face.
not resting.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Right.
It's like very intense.
Motion, stern face, whatever. We'll move on from that joke, yes.
So, and basically I said the same thing about you, which is true. You actually really care about the people, and that matters. I think it makes a huge difference.
Look, life is hard.
It is, no matter who you are.
It's hard, and you and I have the good fortune of having a couple of dollars in the bank. I remember what it was like not having that. And one thing that always bothered me that I've tried not to do with the good fortune I've been able to have, I felt like if someone had a problem, or if I had a problem, no one would actually help. They'd give words of encouragement. You'll get through it, you'll figure it out, you know, this and that. But no one was like, oh, you need $5,000? Like, I'll give you a loan. And, you know, pay me back one day. And I think it always bothered me at the time, not that they didn't do it for me, but that, hey, if I ever got in a position where I could help like that, I would, no problem. And, you know, the nice things you said about me earlier, like, I feel like I live that. If you have a problem, we talked about it at work. You have a problem, bring it to me, it becomes our problem. Same with my friends. When friends have been fired from jobs or whatever it is, like, that has nothing to do with me. I judge them on our relationship, how they've been to me, how they've been to my loved ones. If you've been good to me, I'm with you.
So when you talk about, and I know some certain scenarios, and actually I was going to ask you about loaning money, because I know there's been times where you've loaned money. You said you don't expect to get that money back. What does it mean to you when you do actually get that money back?
Well, look, whatever loans, you know, I've given to people, which is obviously between me and them. Excuse me.
You know, I'll take a sip too, just so it's like a drink break for everyone.
I'm in.
Liquid Death sponsor.
I know, but
You
they're
don't
not
do
a
this.
sponsor yet, but I do love Liquid Death. I do.
Who's the gentleman you know at Liquid Death?
Peter Pham, he's an investor, and
Put Peter Pham on my call sheet. Get sponsorship for Stephanie's podcast, please.
yes.
So whatever loans I've given, everyone's repaid them.
But you never expected the money back.
Never mention it, never expect it, never even really want it back. And what I'll say to them, they're usually younger people who are struggling, or sometimes, you know, older people who you've been close to for a long time. I'll say, hey, listen, it's between you and me. There's no interest on it. Don't tell anybody. If you have the means to pay it back, pay it back. If you don't, no problem. But if you have the means to pay it back and you don't, just know that I'll remember it. And they've all paid it back, and that's a credit to them.
And it's also, I don't know, even just the way that you said that, though, it's like, just know that if you have the means to pay it back and you don't, I'll remember it.
Which means your credit line's over here.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But it's good because you're basically saying, I'm not a sucker, don't take advantage. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm giving you this because I want to, but my eyes are wide open. You know, but I think it's just interesting, the positioning of it.
Yeah, look, I think also growing up primarily in Las Vegas, you learn. Dana White said this line years ago in something totally unrelated. He said, growing up in Las Vegas, you learn early that money can trump everything, sometimes including justice. And he said that as it was sort of a critique on something that happened in the justice system that was off to him and me and many other people. And I do think growing up in Las Vegas, you grow up fast and you learn that the power of money is serious. So even, you know, the seat that I have the good fortune of sitting in, that's the reason why a lot of people are nice to me, and that's the reason why a lot of people call me back. I don't ever think it's because of me. And I think you see executives who get into these big seats and they sort of forget it's the seat, it's not the person. Because as soon as you're out of that seat, people won't return your call as quickly. And if you don't know that going in, you'll really feel it coming out.
Yeah, ego.
Bad
Yeah.
in business.
How important is risk taking? And then how does that apply to the way you think about business now?
Well, it's interesting. I feel like
And you could tie courage in there, courage, risk taking.
if you look at gamblers, like people who actually gamble, like poker players, the best poker players tend to come from families that didn't have a lot of money, because the only risk they're taking is to stay the same. Meaning, if you grow up in a lower socioeconomic household and you take a risk and it doesn't work out, you're still in the same lower socioeconomic household.
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Right? So that if there's no safety net, which there certainly wasn't for me and many, many other people, if you took calculated risks. So even when I went from being a lawyer to, okay, I want to be an agent, there was some risk in that. What if
Yeah.
it didn't work? You know, as a lawyer, I could have gone on to a 50-year career and made a nice life and this and that, but it's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to get into the media business. And when I did it, it felt like a risk, but it felt like a risk worth taking. And I got lucky, it paid off. But not having, I don't really care. People I know and care about, I by nature care what they think. People I don't know, I don't care what they think. So if I failed, or if I failed when I came over to WWE, and let's say there were terrible articles written about my failure at WWE, had I, lost the job after a year or 2 years, it's no problem for me. I just don't care about that sort of thing.
And the reason why I'm asking is because I think a lot of people, everybody sort of has the same, not necessarily financial opportunity, but one of the things I hear consistently in the people that I'm interviewing is that drive, that determination, that never giving up, that always being on, always striving to do the next thing, never being afraid to fail, taking that risk. And you have taken huge risks. You referenced even in a recent Bill Simmons podcast, you talked about CM Punk taking the risk of coming back after a decade of being gone, of Roman Reigns overcoming an illness. That's sort of the idea behind what's your story, right? Is because everyone has a story. Life kicks everybody around. What are the ways that you overcame adversities to get to where you are? And that's where I'm trying to get to with this risk taking. So when did you know that you wanted to be in the media business? And was being a lawyer the first step to get there? Or did you think you wanted to be a lawyer first?
But by the way, in terms of what's your story, McAfee, which I think was your TV show, was your show,
Yes,
Steph's
yeah.
Places. McAfee, you made emotional or got emotional in the clips that I've seen. You have an innate ability to bring that out of people. McAfee to me is a true American success story. A guy who goes to what's considered a lesser school, a guy who gets his way into the NFL and sort of finagled his way into a tryout. A guy who, if you've seen the clips, when they show the players at the beginning of the game, hey, I'm so-and-so, I went to the Ohio State University and this and that.
Right.
He would say, I'm Pat McAfee. One day I want to be a professional wrestler. Like,
He said that.
yeah, he in his mind, he saw it. And instead of letting anyone tell him, they told him, but he didn't listen to it. Well, you're only this, or you can't do that, or you need to do this. He forged his own path. I think for me, for others who have had the good fortune of succeeding professionally in life, like, you got to see it a moment in time before everyone else sees it. And then you just got to go do it. There's no blueprint. There's no waiting. There's just do it. And you'll fall on your face. You'll make a bunch of mistakes, but you got to keep moving forward. And those days that you feel like, man, I don't think this is going to work. Like, that's normal for every person. In relationships, in business, that was a terrible day. Like, it's a good thing. And I think I said this recently. I like that the clock resets at midnight. No matter how good the day was or how bad the day was, and it was, I think, Lorenzo Fertitta, one of the brothers with Dana White, who really built up the UFC, who said in a short documentary, you get a good night's sleep, you wake up the next day, and it's a fresh point of view. And you just get up and you keep moving forward. So to me, health is a different thing. If someone's health is at risk, that's, you have very little control over that. But in business, like, what's the worst that can happen? You get fired.
Yeah, people are so afraid.
They're so afraid of that, and they're so afraid of, oh, well, what? It's a reason, by the way, stuff like, I'm not a member of any club, the country club, beach club, this, that. I don't like it. I feel like for me, I don't like it.
Yeah, we aren't either.
It doesn't surprise me, right? The sort of like, oh, well, this happened and it's negative, and you and I went through negative press on the company for a few years when,
I don't know what you're talking about.
right? It was
I've never endured any negative press.
well, it's not on you. It
No,
was
there has
on the
been
company.
plenty.
No. None that I've ever seen. It never bothered me. It was just like, this is life. And I also never had to think about like, oh, what are people at the club like saying about this?
Right.
It bothered me. Like, who gives a fuck about what someone at a club says about you?
It's like social media, and Paul was saying to me the other day, because it's funny how human nature-wise, you can be looking at comments, and there's 10 great comments and one negative comment, and you, as a human being, you just focus in on that one negative comment, and it can wreck your day. And Paul said to me, he goes, would you ask that person their opinion on a decision you had to make? I was like, no. He goes, right. Why? So, because I don't care what they think. I don't know who they are. He goes, right. So why do you care what they think?
Steph, I promise you this. I've never once searched my name on X, on any social media platform, on Google. If it says something positive, it has no relevancy to me. If it says something negative, it has no relevancy to me. And it's something I love hearing that Paul says that to you. I know he believes that. And it's something we encourage our creative team and writers, like, don't program for that.
Yeah.
Program for the universe, not for a small portion of the universe who wants to criticize you. That doesn't matter. Move on. Put on a good product. The money will be there. The fans will be there. The results will be there.
So getting back to, because what I'm trying to ascertain is when you first became a lawyer, right? And because this just goes back to your approach to things, because I think you have, I always try to learn from everyone, and I learned so many valuable lessons from you. And like you said, you have to be more knowledgeable than the person you're speaking to as much as you can, about the business or whatever it is that you're talking to them about, whether that's the media business, whether that's WWE, if it's NFL, NBA, the person you're negotiating contract for, whatever it is, you have to be the smarter or more knowledgeable. So when you're doing your 2-3 step ahead planning, and like you said, you didn't have a lot of options when you were growing up, and you decided, you know what, I'm going to be an attorney because I see a path there. Were you thinking you wanted to stay an attorney? I know once you got into it, you didn't totally love it. Or was it always a jumping off point to the media business? Like, when did the media business become the North Star?
It was right when I was finishing law school. The Sopranos had come on the air. I didn't have a subscription to HBO, so I used to go to a friend's house in law school to watch it. And I remember like reading the credits of that show. And the internet was new-ish then, and looking up David Chase, the creator of that show, and seeing what he had done in the past. And James Gandolfini, obviously the star of that show, and seeing like, oh, he was in True Romance.
Which, by the way, we didn't know was a movie we shared.
True Romance? Love.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Love.
Yeah, I heard you say it on the Simmons podcast, and I was like...
The Gary Oldman performance at the beginning of that movie is top
phenomenal.
5 character to me.
Agreed. I love Gary Oldman, too.
Love.
Yeah, so talented. But to see him as like a pimp...
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
And by the way, when
Yeah.
Christian Slater comes in and gives him the envelope,
The whole thing.
he's like, this is for Alabama. And he's like, what is it? He opens it, he turns it upside
He's like,
down. Right. And there's a screen in the corner where there's some
Yeah.
adult, content
and
going on.
you haven't even looked. That's
You can say what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
No.
This is your podcast.
You.
Go ahead.
There were some titties.
That's correct. He said, God damn it, you haven't even looked at those.
You haven't even looked at those.
By the way, that scene, and by the way, as you know, written by Quentin Tarantino,
Yes.
not directed by Tarantino. So that was his vision. And when you watch that movie, it holds up. Even the Dennis Hopper scene with Christopher Walken
Timeless.
and
Timeless.
Gandolfini in that scene, it's
in the bathroom fight scene with Patricia Arquette.
Phenomenal.
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 It's the best movie. I love that movie.
But by the way, I think like movies taught me a lot about business. Even that scene at the beginning, where again he comes in by himself into what some might consider a scary environment, and he just tells it like it is. And what's he thinking? Like, the worst thing this guy can do, kill me? Like,
Yeah.
What did he have that was so great in his life? He found the girl that he loved.
Yeah.
Right?
That he was willing to put
Correct.
everything up for.
So I love clips like that, and I'll save clips like that on my phone and watch them periodically.
So that's another thing you do. You save clips, quotes, articles, and what is your mindset when you save something? Is it like for pleasure? Is it that was a joke to the earlier part of the conversation,
Yes.
not anything else.
Understood. I understand. I know what you're referencing. Yes.
Or is it, and then there's business. Like sometimes I'll tell you I'm speaking to somebody and you'll send me an article from 5 years ago. And I'm like, how did you just come upon this? And you're like, well, I read it and I thought it was really good, so I saved it.
Yeah, so by the way, we're talking Game of Thrones earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene in that, I can't remember the character's name, the redheaded like witch. She was actually a witch. This
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
a derogatory
No,
term.
I remember.
Okay,
She turned old,
correct.
surprisingly,
So
in a scene.
when she goes up to Arya and Arya Stark, I've seen you before. And she said, I've seen you. And she said something to the effect of, and I said you would take, many lives, the brown eyes, the blue eyes, whatever it was. And then she says, what do we say to the god of death? And Arya Stark says, not today. And it sort of reminds me of low points in business or in life. Like, as long as you don't die, there's always tomorrow. And I know that may sound a little dramatic, but that clip to me, I was like, man, that's like a kid who ended up being orphaned in that
Yeah.
show, who's on her own trying to figure it out. Again, fictional show. but
Right.
Game of Thrones top 5 show of all time
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
for
Yeah.
me. Amazing. Like the Battle of the Bastards episode, amazing.
Yeah.
But that Arya Stark scene is something that I keep on my phone. So if there are moments where you're like, man, that was rough today. What do we say to the god of death? Not today.
Not today.
We survive, we advance, and tomorrow's a new day. So I think in reading newspapers a lot as a child, like I still subscribe to the hard copy newspaper. I know I'm one of like 10 people who still do that. It drives my office crazy because even when I'm on vacation, I'll say, hey, I need these newspapers in my room, and it's not so easy anymore. But I like to read. A lot of the information that I believe I have in my head is public information. It's just people haven't read it or haven't had the time to read it. So if you can read what's going on, even the recent Roman Reigns piece in Vanity Fair, I thought it was a phenomenal piece on who he is. And rarely does a piece nail it like that piece nailed it. But it really showed who he is and what he's about. And to have that knowledge the next time I saw him, and to be able to reference it, I think is always an advantage for anybody.
For sure.
When do you find the time? I was always fascinated working for you that like I didn't feel like you ever slept. Yes, with you. I didn't feel like you slept, and then you were sharing articles or like I don't know, little quirks of how we can do things better. Send this email at this time. Like, when are you finding the time to read all this stuff and just learn?
Early morning for me.
Okay,
Because in waking up early, my wife's not awake yet, our children are not awake yet.
like before everyone.
Before. And it's kind of like quiet time for me where I can just sort of focus on the things that are of interest to me business-wise.
Okay.
So that's when I do it. And as you know from having children, now I'm going to make you a guarantee about you. Your phone, it's just all pictures of your children, correct?
Basically.
Basically.
And clips of
Stephanie's place.
Yeah,
Stephanie's
yeah,
podcast.
exactly. I get it. I get it.
outfits. Yeah.
And my favorite items are non-children things. They're like quotes that I've seen or articles I've read. Like Nick Saban has a line. He says, high-achieving people don't like mediocre people. Mediocre people don't like high-achieving people. And I always think about that if I'm at a store and it doesn't seem like there's good service or this or that. And it's not because of the job the person has. You can be a high-achieving person in a middle-of-the-road job. It's because a person doesn't give a fuck about their job.
Right.
And those people, to me, I have very little tolerance for. Always polite. There's no reason not to be. But the Saban line reminds me of that. So being able to pull those up every so often in my favorited items is something that I like to do.
All right. Good learning.
Yeah, well, it's a great tip. I just can't get organized enough to really do it. I wind up like, oh, I'm only going to favorite the things that aren't my kids. Oh, but then I favorite a whole bunch of stuff that is my kids, and then
Yeah.
everything's all blended together, and I'm confused, and it's bad.
Well, by the way, I'm sort of my
I'm
wife.
reminding
My
you
wife,
where
who
it
you
is.
know quite well, will tell you like I like an organized life. My wife, the opposite of me, full chaos. If we go on a trip together, if we come home at night, I unpack immediately. She'll unpack like 2 weeks later.
That's great.
I'm like, your suitcase just sitting there 2 weeks? She's like, yeah, you've known me 30 years. That's how it is. I'm like, cool.
But so it doesn't bother you with her stuff.
No.
It's only with your stuff or stuff that you see.
We have the good fortune of having like separate sinks, like on different sides of the bathroom. My sink, there's like nothing around that sink. Her sink, 4,000 things.
Oh, I have many things.
It's also
within my
different for
sink.
men and women.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I just need to
We have
wash
more
my
product.
face. Correct.
Though that's changing. There's a lot more product for men now.
Yeah, but it's still like nothing.
Yeah, nothing compared.
Face wash, brush your teeth, brush your hair.
We have many
a
lotions.
little-
You're correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, all different kinds of things.
Yeah.
Many products. Big marketing opportunity though. Big CPG opportunity in the male space. which-
Listen, look, Dwayne Johnson, Papa Tui. He knows men need their own product.
So, speaking of Dwayne Johnson, there was a post a few years ago that Dwayne put up, and it was a shot of him, Nanachka, who at the time was working on Young Rock,
Yes.
and you. And Rock, oh, there it is. He mentions you guys being on the beach together as
Yes.
kids. Did you know each other? Did your paths cross as kids? Do you remember your paths crossing as kids?
Yeah. So, I was born in Las Vegas, moved to Los Angeles, moved to Honolulu, moved back to Las Vegas, where I went to high school and went to college. So in Honolulu, his grandmother, as you know, Leah Maivia, would have the wrestling shows there.
Yep, she was the first female promoter that I know of.
First female promoter.
Yeah.
And by the way, I blame you in part. WWE never came to Hawaii.
Well, we did just later, I suppose.
Not in like 1985, 86.
Okay, yeah,
You guys
maybe.
looked down on Hawaii.
I was 8.
Exactly. Oh, look, it's very expensive to do a show there. We haven't done a show there since I've been here. It's very expensive.
But I will tell you the very first time I was in charge of the shows. So Vince tore both of his quads, and that was the night of the Royal Rumble going into the first ever Super Show when we recorded Raw and SmackDown on the same night before we went to an overseas trip, which included a shot in Hawaii.
Amazing.
And then we went to Japan and did Raw and SmackDown from Japan. And just a quick story on that, because I was suddenly responsible
writer.
for all of the creative content and like rooms of men, you know, who are making a lot of decisions. And I'm on the phone with my dad and I'm like, okay, Vince, this is what we have, because he's Vince in business, dad at home. You know, here's what we have for the show. I was like very, you know, I knew I had to run through this. And he stopped me. And the only time he's ever said this ever, Steph, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, okay, so no problem.
Okay.
We'll rely on everybody that you've got here. It's your team, and we're all set. So thank you. That was it.
By the way, how about, I don't know if you've ever seen the clip of Joe Rogan talking about Vince's double quad injury.
No, I haven't.
You got to see it.
Okay.
He says, look at this guy, and they're showing the clip, and he's, you know, walking out
Oh
doing
yeah,
the Vince
yeah,
angry
yeah.
walk.
I remember it.
And he comes to me, he's like, the guy's torn both of his quads, which Triple H tore a quad. Like, so you
He
know,
tore both quads, but not at the same
both.
time. Yeah.
So you know through him and through being in the business how painful that is. And he's like, look at, he just sits there and goes on with the show, starts directing people from the floor.
From a seated position.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't teach that.
No.
Like that sort of toughness and fortitude, it just can't be taught. I do think everyone's born a certain way. And if you're born with a certain skill set, you can hone it. But if you're not born that way, it's tough to ever develop that skill set.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, there's an inherent toughness that either exists in some people or it doesn't.
Why do you think that is? You think it's just a genetic thing?
Well, so you talked about a fictional story about someone overcoming. My dad tells the story that he was oftentimes beaten by various boyfriends, etc. That were with his mom. He grew up in a trailer park, and he would always stand up for his mom, and he would take these beatings. And one time he tells the story that he was beaten with a lead pipe and left in a ditch to die. But his mindset was, if he could survive, he won. So just surviving was winning and still is winning for him today. And I don't know how you can ever beat someone at the end of the day if all they need to do is survive to win.
The first time I ever read that, he had done an interview in the late 90s with a publication that had great interviews. And he
Playboy.
talked, yes,
Yeah.
he talked about that. He talked about abuse he had suffered at the hands of one of his parents,
Of
not
his
his
mother.
father. Yes.
Yeah.
To recover, to move on, to go from trailer park to, all of
Billionaire.
the success.
Yeah.
There's not many people
And
who can say
created
that. An empire,
a
a universe.
Yes, absolutely.
Correct. A universe. So all credit to him. I only have admiration for him. As Paul said, Triple H said at his Hall of Fame speech, family's complicated. And, obviously we don't need to get into any of that.
Yeah, we're not going any
No, no.
deeper on that, but
But in
yes,
terms of business, that guy's an empire builder.
absolutely he is.
Nothing but
And no one
respect.
can take that away from him.
Nobody.
No matter what, including himself, who is probably his biggest nemesis is himself.
I thought we weren't getting into that.
We're not.
It's a setup.
Perfect.
But I want to go back to the Rock. So
Yes.
I remember that arena in Hawaii,
Blaisdell Arena, still named the Blaisdell Arena.
and it was very small.
Small.
Yep.
Small. So we
So
would go. So he and I are 2 years apart, and my sister she's about a year and change older than me, so a year younger than him. So we met at the shows. We were kids at the show, and we all loved wrestling. So we'd sit and talk about the show, and he would sort of humbly say, like, that's my grandmother in the ring. And when you're a little kid, you'd be like, is this kid lying? Like,
Right.
yeah, that's my grandmother too. Like,
Yeah.
And then one time, you saw him get in the ring, and again, when you're on the outside, and I think most media executives and sports executives grow up on the outside looking in, and sort of saying, like, I want to be in that guy's spot. Like, how do I get on the field, or how do I get near the wrestling ring? And I remember sort of seeing that and saying, like, hey, instead of being like paying to come here, I'd like to sort of be involved in this sort of thing. And whether that ended up in the agenting business or the boxing business or the wrestling business, I always wanted to go from the outside to the inside. And I always thought it would be a fun life, challenging professionally, like any other profession is challenging. But I always thought it would be fun, and it is.
What was the most challenging part of managing Manny Pacquiao?
So there were two fighters, Manny Pacquiao and James Lights Out Toney. Okay. James Toney was the greatest defensive fighter that I've ever seen. He would also fluctuate in weight a lot. Manny Pacquiao always stayed on weight, was very disciplined about that. But it was very...
Was that the only thing he was disciplined about?
Before he found God, there were a lot of things. There were a lot of things he was not disciplined about.
No offense.
Look, it was
An
also
incredible fighter, incredible
fighter, incredible guy.
Yes.
But this
Politician.
was politician.
Yep.
This was pre-text messaging,
Okay.
and there's no real credit system in the Philippines, so everyone has a prepaid cell phone. You don't like have a Verizon plan or whatever it is.
Right.
So you call him. You couldn't get in touch with him. You couldn't text him. So eventually I'd fly from LA to the Philippines, like you try to find him. And, you'd end up in a city called General Santos City. Yeah, see Manny Pacquiao anywhere. And you talk to his guys, and, always there were people like to protect him. They were, I don't know where he is. And this, that. So finally you'd find him, and it was a lot of fun. But I said to myself, like, I don't know, managing fighters, it's not the easiest thing in the world. So even when I became an agent and I would represent, sports broadcasters who were perceived as difficult, people would say, hey, it's so difficult. And I would say to myself, like, not compared to James Toney and Manny Pacquiao. Like, this is easy. And even WWE is a client. They is that difficult? Is Vince difficult? Like, nope, not compared to these other guys. So
Same hold true for every billionaire you've ever worked with, because you have often mentioned to me how billionaires can have particular eccentricities that the average person wouldn't necessarily have. And how do you work with that? How do you manage that? Still, they don't compare to those two?
They don't compare.
no.
With billionaires, you can say anything you want to them as long as it's in private and it's said respectfully.
You were recently on the Bill Simmons podcast, and you mentioned offhandedly about people who have a chip on their shoulder typically do well. And I'm curious why and what you meant by that.
I read this article in the '08 election in Time Magazine, when Time Magazine was still Time Magazine.
Is this favorited?
This part is favorited.
Okay.
Yes, good callback. It said if you look at all of the presidents in the history of the United States, they all either come from super successful fathers or fathers who are completely absent. Bill Clinton never knew his father. Gerald Ford met his father at 17 or 18 years old. John Kennedy's dad, super successful. W. Bush's dad, super successful. And the theme of the article was that everyone who becomes president either wants to show the world, it's not either wants, but everyone who becomes president wants to show the world, look, I'm not like my dad. I'm not a nobody. And I'm also, you think my dad's rich and successful, like I'm the president of the United States. And I don't believe in the father-son competition in my household. It didn't exist that way. But there's something about wanting to prove yourself when you come from the outside. So, for example, I went to UNLV. According to the Wall Street Journal, UNLV is the 430th ranked school out of 500 colleges. So, by the way, if your two daughters who aren't in college can't get into the top 429, call me.
Okay.
Well,
You might have some
we'll help.
connections.
Or maybe they shouldn't go to college if they can't get into the
Oh,
top
what is
429.
your college philosophy, though?
Yeah, my college philosophy is if you want to be a biologist, like go to college, go to the best school you can because you have to get that training. Outside of that, I see it as a total waste of time. And people will say, well, what about the college experience? And I'm like, what do you mean, like getting drunk and hooking up with people? Like,
You could do that anywhere
you don't
else.
need
Yeah.
college to do that. They're like, well, football games. I'm
Right?
like, you don't need to go to college to go to a football game. Like, go to a football game. I think it used to be certain people couldn't get into college. So if you went to college, it gave you this great advantage. Now that everyone can go to college, I think it sets a lot of people up for expectations that their life's going to turn out a certain way with a degree, and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just a reference, I just interviewed John Cena, who was talking about his degree in kinesiology and physiology, and he couldn't find a job. Could not find a job.
I was a political science major at UNLV, and like, I guess it was sort of interesting, but I think I could have like listened to the classes on tape and been interested rather than going and taking I don't know. It just
Yeah.
felt like a prolonged adolescence to me, where hey, I'm on spring break, and no one gives you a hard time when you're like, yeah, I'm in college. Oh, that's great. I'm in law school. That's great. But like years are going by, where if you were just working, I would always think like, so I was 5 years undergrad. I worked full time.
Right, right. This is where you got the chip?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Right. By the way, I bus tables.
Do
I waited
anything.
tables. When you're a busboy, you're cleaning the bathrooms. Like, again, I always have this philosophy, like if no job is beneath you, then no job is out of your reach. Whatever job I did,
That's a good quote. We got to get that one.
Okay.
like
If no job is beneath you, no job is out of your reach.
it just isn't. And to me, it's going to sound silly, but like I was the head busboy. Then I became the head
You
waiter.
worked your way up.
I was young. I was, 17 when I started college. So I was young, but I took my job seriously. And when I realized, like, again, this is 1992, 1993, I can make $100 a day in tips. Well, why don't I just work every day? And if I work every day, then I'll make more money than if I had only worked 75% of the days. And I think that translated into my career as a professional. Like, there's no day off. It just doesn't work like that for me. So there's certain days where there's Sundays, there's less work than certainly, Mondays or Tuesdays. But I'm always working. While, as you've always said, there is no work-life balance. It's never totally balanced. But my children are my priority. My wife is my priority. So once I feel like that's been satisfied, then really the only other thing that interests me is work. But what was your question? Did I just go off topic? there?
Yeah, well, no, it was
Oh,
the chip on your shoulder. Like,
Yeah,
how
no,
does that make you successful?
By the way, when you can't buy certain things, when
Mm.
you can't help people, when you're sort of sitting there saying, and this is not a woe is me thing, this made me mad. And I deal better with anger than I do sadness. So it was like, I'm going to show the world that I can do it. And I feel like when you're starting here, and other people are starting here. So let's say UNLV here and let's say Harvard here. Like the only chance you have to sort of catch up is to outwork them, and they're working. It's not like they're staying stagnant. But if I could work 18 hours a day and they were working 12 hours a day, then hey, there was more knowledge that I could deposit into, my knowledge bank, if you will, and maybe at some point, there'd be a withdrawal I could take on it, and the deposits would be there.
McAfee talked about in fifth grade, I think it was, and I might have the year wrong, but he was talking about, they went around the room and asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, one kid's a firefighter, and the teacher, oh, that's so great, that's coming. And one kid said, I want to be a teacher like you. Oh, that's so great. And you get to Pat, and he says, I want to be rich. And he was very serious because he grew up with really not that much money. He told us a story about needing 50 cents to buy a grape drink, and that's another story, which is a great one that you're going to love, that I don't know if you've heard. But he said how much not having money bothered him, that all he wanted to do was to be able to provide for himself and his family so that they didn't have to make the choices of whether or not to even ask for 50 cents for a grape juice drink.
He articulated it perfectly. That's how I felt. Even when I went to law school, your first year of law school, as you know from friends, is very difficult, very challenging. So that first year, even though I'd worked full time, I decreased work a little bit so I could focus. My food budget, my first year in law school per week, was $27 a week.
For the whole week.
For the whole week. And that's just the way that it was. I had I think $5,000 saved. I would make a certain amount of money. But at $27, it was sort of easy for me. I never complained about it. It never made me sad. It just made me not want to be in that position. Mm-hmm. And by the way, $27 a week, there's a West Coast store called Food for Less. You go to that grocery store, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like all the dented cans and all that stuff,
right?
But it's not the freshest.
Right. It's the
not,
day old.
Correct. Yeah. It's not Erewhon or what Whole Foods was.
Right. There's not mold
10,
on the bread, but
ago.
it's not fresh.
Like you better eat the bread that day.
That day, yeah.
So you go to that store and you'd buy, I remember, bag cereal before bag cereal was in. You buy bag cereal. I'd buy milk. I'd buy rice. I'd buy things that were really inexpensive.
I was going
I'd
to
buy
say
ramen.
cup of noodles.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time. And you'd get through it.
Yeah.
And I think I went to public school my whole life like Pat did. I liked many things about it. One thing I didn't like was that exact question. What do you want to be when you grow up? Most people would say what Pat conveyed, not what he said, what the other. I want to be a cop. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a firefighter. All noble things. People would even say I want to be a marine biologist. I don't know what that is, but that's what people would say. No one could just say, I want to start a record company and sell it for $3 billion. It almost felt like that was discouraged.
Right.
And all I wanted, and even Yvette and I, my wife and I, we didn't have children until I was 37. That was a conscious decision, more driven by me, because I wanted to know that if something ever happened to me, that we had enough in the bank already, that's 13 years ago, where my children would never have to live a different life than the life that I would give them had I been around. It was important to me that they weren't moving around like we did as children a lot, that they weren't in one home to another home. I didn't want that for them. And I wanted to have enough money in the bank where even, again, if something happened to me, Yvette, Sonny, Natalie, they'd be good for the rest of their lives. It was important to me.
Another thing McAfee said that I've heard you say as well on the Simmons podcast was that, and which, by the way, was so fun to hear Bill mark out talking about creative and
Huge
everything.
wrestling fan.
Oh my, really, and I know that, but I haven't really seen his enthusiasm, and he was so excited talking to you about everything. It was great.
Loves. How about his house? 24 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Eyeball test.
Yes.
You can see.
At least 40,000 square feet, you said.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minimum.
You could still hear the dogs, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
he
true.
commented
They were
on
just
it.
close by.
Yes.
Yeah. But and I even put it in a social post that Pat had said this, that life is wrestling. So I think that means a lot. And you mentioned, you and Paul, Triple H, talk about that all the time, how life is wrestling. How do you mean it?
So WWE is life, life is WWE, is what our version of what Pat says. So Pat said to you, I saw this clip, that, you know, when someone's being a jerk to him, he's like, oh, that guy's just a heel. Like, that's just the way it is. When someone's, you know, doing right by you, oh, he's a face. Like, it is life. I think the reason it resonates with millions of people globally is because it personifies life. There's betrayal, there's disappointment, there's double cross, there's also heroic endings, there's Cody finishing his story, someone with a dream. Think about Cody Rhodes, and you've known him since you guys were kids, right? Cody Rhodes comes to WWE. This is Dusty Rhodes' son. And by the way, Dustin Rhodes' little brother. And okay, he's going to become something. And then he's Stardust, and he's doing the hand thing and all this stuff. And he asks to be released from a guaranteed contract. And he goes on the independent circuit, and he helps to start up another company. And sometimes you got to leave home to be considered an adult. And I think because he had grown up at WWE or around wrestling, WCW, NWA, WWE, like he had to leave and go to his own thing so he wouldn't just be Dusty's son. And when he came back, you were there, 2022 WrestleMania Dallas, like the crowd went fucking crazy for him. And I thought at that moment, man, he made all the right moves and he took risk and his risk paid off. And as you know, he's one of our top guys right now. He's a gem. CM Punk, who we talked about earlier, gem, easy to work with, easy. Roman, easy. Heyman, easy. Triple H, easy. And by the way, everyone can run hot. Sometimes, like as the not being on the creative side, just let people cool for a second, and then you can usually get the message across to them that you want.
I do want you to have the opportunity to talk about what you're most excited about coming up with WWE. But also, I wanted to ask your sort of thoughts, and different people have asked you this in different ways, about the media business in general and where it's headed. So Dana White was recalling when we were growing up, you know, that you in essence had like 5 to 7 main channels, right? And at the time we had a dial, right? And he believes that that is going to be the same setup, but globally. So the world will have the same 5 to 7 channels. And I don't mean to put words in his mouth if he means it'll be slightly more than that or less than that, what have you. We also didn't talk about whether they'll be subscription-based or not. But the fact that you will have these channels that are essentially live globally. WWE is in essence doing this already with Netflix. In terms of our premium live events, domestically, they still stream on Peacock, but WrestleMania was available all over the world at the same time live. Do you subscribe to the world getting smaller in terms of 5 to 7 global brands, media brands, or channels? Do you think it's going to be, you know, how do you see things?
So two things, one unrelated, just quickly, and then one related. You mentioned earlier about PBR. Just so we're clear, I don't run PBR. There's a gentleman named Sean Gleason, who's the CEO of PBR, who's doing a phenomenal job. I just wanted to clarify that.
But don't you?
It
comes under your purview.
I help to oversee
the success of it.
The success
or
is
failure.
About the people
it comes under you.
who work every day on it is their success.
Okay.
Either way, Dana has a unique ability.
Are you going to ride a bull?
Dana has.
Dana has. Thank you.
But by the way, Penta was watching some TikTok from, I sent this to Brayband, I believe, our head of digital, who does a phenomenal job here. Is that your official title, head of digital? Okay, good. All right. So
whatever you say, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. So
He's emailing HR right now.
the interviewer is asking our wrestlers, if you were in any other sport other than wrestling, what would it be? And Penta says, do you know PBR?
Really?
He's like, that's what I would want to do. I would want to ride the bull.
Oh.
So there's a young lady named Carla Montiel, who you know, who's an executive at WWE. She connects me with Penta. I said, please no riding. not while you're here. We love it in terms of expanding PBR's brand, but we need you safe.
We need you healthy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Dana has the unique ability to see around the corner. I'll give you a couple of examples. He was way ahead of everyone in saying the mainstream media is not the way to go. It's not about distrust and all of that stuff. I don't want us to get into that. It's all about the podcast world and the digital space. He was saying this 5 years ago. when you look at how he's continued to grow the UFC, and you see him on Theo Von's show and on Aiden Ross's show and doing all of these things, the Nelk Boys, years in advance of people even knowing who these folks were, way ahead of the game. I think he's ahead of the game again on there's 5, 7, 10 global channels. So when you look at Netflix, and I didn't know this, Steph, until the WWE deal was done, it's when I'm in Saudi on business, when I'm in London on business, it's the same exact interface. It's my avatar, it's my wife, my children, it's the same setup, which makes it so easy compared to when you go to other countries and you're saying like, I think there's an NFL game on, I don't know what channel it's on, how do I find this thing? It actually makes a global property like WWE global. So even if you look at our expansion in our premium live events into international markets and the gates that we're doing on that, number one, it all starts with the product, which is Paul and his creative team, our creative team. But number two is going into those marketplaces, having boots on the ground, promoting locally, finding the right date that works for the locals there, and boom, then your product becomes bigger, not only for that moment, but for that entire year. And then you got to do it again the year after.
Yep, you have to come back to the markets.
Every day in business, you got to earn your keep.
And in life, right?
In life. You got to earn it and re-earn it. So I can tell you about, oh, look at this record gate we did in Lyon, France a year ago. Nobody cares. What they care about, what I care about is what are we doing today? What are we doing tomorrow? Which is always our focus here. It's the same when I say I don't relitigate the past in relationships. Like I look to the future. If you believe.
So what does the media landscape look like in the future?
I believe it looks like what Dana says it's
You do,
gonna
you
look
agree.
Like. 5, 7, 10 global channels.
What about he's putting Slap Fight, I believe, is that what it's called?
Power Slap.
Power Slap,
Yep.
thank you, on VeChain. And he was talking a little bit about blockchain and how he, again, I think he's slightly ahead of the curve putting content, on this platform. And he said, I wanted to reach as many people as possible. What are your thoughts on VeChain, on blockchain, and the importance of that for the media business moving forward?
I love everything that he's doing, certainly in the UFC and with Power Slap, and everything that I believe we're going to do in boxing, which is how do you get the broadest, widest audience possible to watch your sport? So it was no different than when WWE 25 years ago, whatever it was on UPN, and the Nashville Network, which became the National Network, which became TNN, which became Spike, which is now Paramount. It's smaller platforms. And then all of a sudden you fast forward to WWE's on NBCU and Netflix. Like pretty good work by all the people who were here well in advance of me to get the product to where it is now. If you look at UFC, they went from Spike to Fox, and from Fox to Disney, where something that was called human cockfighting at one point, he, the brothers, and then Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, once that transaction happened, broadened the appeal of the sport, where if you ask somebody, did you see the UFC fight last night? They certainly know what you're talking about. Most watch, many watch, but they know what you're talking about. WWE, you saw the same thing. Vince, yourself, Bruce, Paul, many other people throughout the years. It's the same thing with Slap. You're seeing it start to penetrate the zeitgeist. And I think boxing, which once had that, went so far obscure in their titles and sanctioning bodies and where to watch and when to watch, that if we can make slight adjustments to that and you have a great product, which is the hardest thing to do, maybe you see a bit of a renaissance in boxing.
Well, plus you're building stars.
Of course.
I mean, it's all about the star power.
Look, at WWE, we have two philosophies when we don't know what to do. Copy the NFL or do the opposite of boxing. And if you do those things, you'll have a good chance of succeeding.
So is there a name of the new entity?
The name is still being discussed. A lot of the names that we've loved have already been marked by other people. So it's finding the name we love that's available. Assume we get it figured out.
We're shaking down the people who own it.
I don't prescribe to that. that would be you and your business philosophy. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Well, Elise.
How about Ben Brown with betraying me and giving you that picture?
I don't feel like that was betrayal.
And she didn't fully confirm where it came from.
I feel
well,
like
when she did the eyebrow raise,
but there was
I wanted to know
verbal
who you were going to say next.
There's only 3 humans who have that. picture. So it was one of those three.
Can we put it back up?
Oh, Jesus. If I look up, I look very pasty in the
No,
picture.
you're a
And
kid.
also, no gel in my hair in that picture. My hair is naturally very puffy.
You are a child.
grade.
A child in this
It
picture.
wasn't the look. No one wants to put that back up.
No, it's
What are the octopus legs around these other people?
Well, they're most all around.
so.
Whatever that.
By the way,
whatever,
Julie
yeah.
Little remains a friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Moved from Hawaii to Las Vegas a year before I did and was very kind and gracious to me when I moved.
Oh, that's
to
so
Las Vegas
cool.
after- when I
See,
moved back
it
to
made
Vegas.
it worthwhile
Yeah.
for you to relook at this picture.
What are
out
these
to
hands?
Julie.
These like jazz hands over here.
Are they most involved? Maybe I don't.
Hey
it doesn't
there.
have their thing,
It says
yeah.
hi. Maybe they're friendliest.
But I feel like the publication could have been a little higher end. It feels like drawings around this
86
stuff.
Haas.
Just
Ha-
most
I don't
popular.
know. What does Haas mean? Like, what's up, Haas?
This you
I
should
assumed
know.
that was your school. I don't.
No,
I
it
don't
was
have-
a Hawaiian name, Kamilawiki Elementary School.
See, I
yeah,
just
not
have
yeah,
a
Haas.
that's
picture.
not Haas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that Garfield over the young lady's shoulder next to me.
It looks like Garfield.
Okay.
Or-
Just drawn in.
Yeah.
All right.
See, you're enjoying this.
Well,
I mean, it's just,
No, I'm not
just a
enjoying
throwback.
this. Look at my hair, all different. By the way, I used to go to Supercuts as a kid.
Yes.
Okay. I would go there with that puffy hair and say, just cut it and part it to the left. And they'd be like, that's not happening for you, dude. Your hair
There's
doesn't
no
work
parting.
that way. There's no parting. We just cut it shorter
just
and you let it
Shorter.
you let it throw out. That's just the way it is. That's what it was.
Yep.
Looks
yep.
great.
Anything else that we need to go over, or are you guys?
No,
done with
but
me?
I just have to say they were right. I mean, most likely to succeed. And here you are, Nick. And again, I just have to end the interview the way I started, because not only are you an incredibly successful businessman who I'm sure is going to go on to continue to do incredible things that you'd never want recognition for, that you always want to be behind the scenes on, but that you're actually at the forefront of driving and make happen. But it's because of who you are as a human being. And you are just true to who you are. You never try to be anybody else. You always are the best possible version of yourself you can be. You work so hard. You're so determined. You are so fiercely loyal. You do believe in giving people chances and opportunities that other people don't see, quite frankly. And you invest in people, and you bring out the best in who they are. And I just think, I said it in my post when I left the company, that you're the best executive I've ever worked with. You've called yourself a non-traditional executive. I think that's true too. And I think the two go hand in glove. And I just couldn't be more grateful for the time that I have had with you and continue to have with you. So thank you very much for being on this podcast and
Again,
sharing your story.
too kind of you. I'm just a mid-level wrestling
I
executive.
know.
Who's also a mid-level bull riding executive, who's a mid-level boxing executive. But you know what I think of you. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so happy that you're doing this with us. By the way, the downloads have been incredible. I don't know if you're getting
No,
this
I haven't
feedback.
heard any metrics yet
Rebound.
on the podcast.
We're going over it after this.
Incredible. Stephanie's Places, you may have heard this, outside of Peyton and Eli, is the most viewed places in the history of any of the series. And just so there's no confusion out there, there's like dozens of different places. It's not just Peyton, Eli, and Stephanie. Dozens of them, the most viewed. So
That's because
a
of
compliment to your
WWE.
skill set. Look, success is the totality of the circumstance, right? It's WWE, it's guests, but it's also that host. So when Jamie Horowitz, Peyton Manning, and I discussed this show for WWE, and they said, who do you think should host it? It was Stephanie McMahon. That's what I said. Both of them were like, perfect, let's go. There was no like, well, what do you think? Why don't we get this person or that? It was that simple and that easy. I'm so happy you agreed to do it, and you've been crushing it just like you have everything else in life.
Well, I'm just very grateful for the opportunity. I really am.
Don't
Thank
try to renegotiate already. we're only like 6 episodes
Well,
in.
I just negotiate with you. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for having me on.
Thank
you
you.
for having me on.
Yes.
All right, destroy that picture
Nope.
immediately.
Nope. It's all there.